Hey people, Uncle Roddus back again with yet another video. The records are just coming in thick and fast. Let's turn that down so we can actually hear each other. Yeah, okay, so yeah, still kind of spending my tax refund on various things. I have probably about 8 or 9 Discogs orders in the post, and 2 arrived today. So compilations, I've shown a lot of compilations over the years, and I've always been interested in compilations. I have a hell of a lot of CD compilations with a couple of shelves. Actually about 4 shelves of them over there. Of compilations of various sorts. It's a great way of collecting a large variety of music and different bands, and stuff you might not sort of find. And one of the really cool things about compilations is when people compile records that are rare records that you would never find out in the wild and put them on, compilations, like a lot of 60s and garage stuff and all that. So, but New Zealand compilations, yeah, I've got a few now. I've shown a few, but there are quite a lot out there. Some of them are pretty hard to get. Some of them are a little bit expensive, and I possibly won't ever own them unless I'm really lucky to come across them for a reasonable price. But yeah, some of the punk ones from a few years ago, and never got CD releases, from the 80s and that. So yeah, I found a local seller who had a bunch for sale of 1980s ones that I picked up, that's just arrived today. Playing in the background is this one here. It's When the Wind Blows, the Wellington compilation from 1987, and the bands that are on it I am not familiar with. Oh, Wild Poppies, I think that sounds familiar, but yeah, the bands that are on it, the Glass, the Jonas. I have a Wazzo Gotti album. I picked their album up recently. The Primates, not pretty obscure bands, pretty obscure compilation. I mean, they're not fantastically good. They're post-pop, post-punky, poppy, indie poppy, alternative. There's a lot of compilations. I have a few from England around the early 80s that aren't that dissimilar in music, but I've listened to one of the ones, and this is the second one tonight after I've cleaned them and listed them on my Discog collection. It's the sort of music that on first listen doesn't sound particularly great, but I think that the songs will grow as you get to know them. But I like collecting these. I think this is cool, and it's just another way of collecting even more New Zealand music. So that was from Wellington. This one here, Strange Weekend Records presents Unexplored, a compilation of New Zealand recordings from 1982 to 86. Now this one's quite interesting. Strange Weekend Records. I was not familiar with that, and so it's from a very obscure record label per se, but it's not. The music on here is not quite so obscure. It's got some actually fairly big songs on it. Blam Blam Blam's Marsha, Screaming Mimi's Dancing with Stars in My Eyes, The Androids' Auckland Tonight, Big Sideways. I have a record of theirs. And then a few others that I'm not familiar with, so it's a bit of a mixed bag of known and unknown stuff, so this could be quite interesting. So yeah, Strange Weekend Records is, actually I better have a look on Discogs, hadn't I? Well, they distributed in the US. Huh, that's interesting. So this was released in the US, so maybe it's not an actual local that's interesting. Yeah, maybe it's not a local issue compilation. It's a New Zealand music compilation, but was released overseas. Which I have one like that. That was a heavy metal one that was released in England in the mid '80s. So a whole bunch of New Zealand heavy metal. This is called Melter Skelter from Meltdown Records. Let's check that. From Palmerston North. Yep, Meltdown Records. This is from 1986 to 89 in Palmerston North. Yeah, never heard of any of the bands apart from maybe one of them. And yeah, I mean, I was familiar with the compilations. I knew about them. I had them on my wants list. But yeah, not familiar with the music, so it could be interesting. So I suspect it's similar to this one, which I've already listened to, but this is Meltdown Town, a compilation from Palmerston North. So this is also on Meltdown Records. This is from 1986, 7. There's a bloody number here. Where are you? Okay, yeah, yeah, Palmerston North acts from 85 to 86, and Meltdown 007. Actually, what was the number on this one? Does it have a catalogue number? Melt 994. Interesting. I don't think they released that many records. Their discography is fairly small, but pretty rare. Yeah, like I say, not music that I'm going to jump up and down with like ecstasy when I hear it, but I listened to this one first up tonight. It's not dissimilar to what's playing in the background here. Sort of post-punky, indie, alternative music from the 80s. Sort of stuff, like I say, I think it'll grow on me. But I think I've got another 7 of these compilations in the mail from New Zealand coming that I've managed to pick up. Some from one locally, but the rest are actually coming in from Europe, surprisingly enough. There's a lot of New Zealand music that's getting sold on Discogs over in Europe. Also today arrived this one. This is by a band called Kraus. Kraus is actually a one-man band. I've seen him play. I think his name's Paul. I've actually spoken to him. I've got their Supreme Commander album, which I think is after this one. He's only got 2 records out on vinyl, and he's got a lot of tapes and CDRs. Let's have a look, see. Faster Than the Speed of Time, that's what it's called. Yeah. And it's on Bimbo Tower Records. Yeah, so pretty cool. Looking forward to that because I really like this other one. The Shocking Pinks are a New Zealand band who I don't think are around any longer, but were really reasonably popular, in New Zealand, which doesn't really say a lot, to be honest. This is an album called Dance the Dance Electric. So I'd heard of this. I picked up, I think I showed a few videos back, a Shocking Pinks tribute compilation where a bunch of New Zealand bands covered a whole bunch of Shocking Pinks songs. So the guys have been around a while. This album originally mastered in 2003, so it's fairly old. It's in almost perfect, mint condition. So looking forward to hearing that. Yeah, the cover version, the cover album that was put together was quite cool, but unfortunately it was a lathe cut and it played like shit and it sounded like shit, but the music was actually pretty cool. I'd seen this one flashed around on Facebook a couple of times, and the name, I love the name, Goblin Cock. I picked this up at Flying Out from their website for a reasonable price, so I thought I'd give it a go. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of the album, it's on the bottom there. This is, they're from the USA, and it's kind of like stoner metal. The first listen I had to it was, there's some interesting stuff happening, but overall the album was, I thought it was fairly, there wasn't much diversity on it. It was fairly the same, pretty flat. It wasn't overly inspiring, but I kind of liked the sound that they were producing. But I'll let it grow on me. And finally, also got this out from Flying Out, Bilbus Creation, You Won't Remember Dying. This was a band from the very early 70s who recorded this album, and it was never ever released. The band sort of wasn't around for long. They just basically played locally in wherever they came from, and I can't remember right at this minute where they came from, but it was released unofficially, I think, in 1994, and then it's been picked up since then and it's kind of like it's been reasonably popular in the underground site collectors market. But this is a numero group issue, and I had listened to this last night. I actually only arrived yesterday. I had listened to it last night. I knew one of the songs on it. Actually, there's quite a long. Is it Let's Go to the Sea? I think it is, which is the first track on side 2. I kind of knew that, and a few years ago I compiled a sort of heavy psych from the early 70s compilation of all these stuff that I'd downloaded off various blogs over the few years. I don't have any of that music anymore. It was all on MP3 on computer and that, so it's all gone now. But there was a compilation that I put on my blog and posted. That was really cool, and I think that track was on it. It's a really good track, but it's a very slow burning psych album, but it's really good. I really like it. So there's another 8 records over the last 2 days that have arrived, so that's going to keep me busy. And then there's a parcel of some really cool New Zealand ones that I ordered from a guy up in Wellington or thereabouts. Unfortunately, he put it on a courier called Fastways, and it's been 5 days and they still haven't shown up. So I'm expecting them tomorrow, and there's possibly a couple out from flying out might turn up tomorrow. So I might even be making another video tomorrow night at this rate. But of course I won't post this for several weeks because I've got about 4 more videos to post up before this, but I'm just posting them once a week. But at the rate I'm going, I'm making maybe 2 to 3 videos a week just to, show what I've got. But, that's cool. So, happy hunting, people, and we'll see you again next time. Cheers.